Hey guys, this is the market update. Crypto is pumping right now, but will it continue? In this video, I want to look at the latest inflation figures that are coming out this week on Thursday. Very, very important figures there. And also looking forward to the FOMC meeting at the end of this month. This is where the Fed is going to come out and potentially put the hammer down once more, potentially raise rates, probably by 25 basis points. So I want to have a look at where we sit right now in terms of the short term, plus my medium term outlook towards the end of this year and with the Bitcoin cycle. So we'll go over that in this video. Before we get into Bitcoin trading, up to $8,000 deposit bonus on BitGet. Also, zero commission spot trading right now if you are an investor. So check that out via the link in the description. Recently, it's been a good rally in risk. Altcoins have pumped. Bitcoin is doing its thing. It's kind of quite slow. It's at the bottom of its cycle, which I will go over towards the end of this video. As you can see, these two blue lines here are the range that we've traded in over the last few months. We have pumped from the bottom, so we got a good bounce off of this support line, but we are coming right into resistance right here. And so I would urge caution, not just here. I think the CPI figure coming in lower could potentially see us try and break through this resistance. We also have a big supply wall up here at around 17.5, 17.7, something like that. You can see we tried to break through the resistance before. I think this was on a previous CPI. We got a massive rejection up at this level. And so this is probably going to act as a supply area and a rejection again. So just to be sure, if you are trading short term, we're kind of at the top of the range. So going long here is probably not the best, the best idea, because we're going into resistance. And even if we break through resistance, we've got a massive supply around the 17.7 level. So we're kind of midway through a really good pump. The RSI is actually showing strength as well. So there's convergence right here between the price and the RSI. So it actually looks really like a strong move, a really good strong move. CPI is obviously going to come in lower, and so we'll go through that now over the short term. As you can see, for the December reading that's coming out this week, the forecast is for 6.7% inflation. The consensus is 6.5. So everyone thinks inflation is coming down quick, coming down faster than expected. Also important as well is the month over month at 0%. So zero inflation month over month. Now, if you annualize a month over month figure, well, annualizing zero is zero. The previous month over month was 0.1, which is actually annualized, way below what the Fed would want. So inflation, I don't think is a big deal anymore. We know it's coming down, but it's what the Fed wants, right? It's what the Fed is saying about where we are in the cycle. They're not done yet. They're probably going to raise. They're probably going to keep it there for a while. They are not done, and they're going to jawbone the market into not rallying too hard. So whilst I believe short term, this is not a great place for a long, because we're going into resistance 1 and supply 1. It's not a great place for a long, even though we are getting some risk on in the market because of the China reopening. So it's a delicate situation. We could have some strength right here, but midterm, the FOMC and the Fed may crush us once more, even though if we actually do break through this and consolidate around this level, even through the FOMC, if we don't break through this level, I don't know what the price will do here, but if we don't break through to the downside of this level, that's pretty bullish in my opinion. But we'll have to see through CPI and when the Fed's meeting occurs, how much they bash the market and how much the price can actually battle against that. If you're looking a little further out than the next few weeks, the Bitcoin cycle pattern is playing out once more. It's incredible how this is actually working out. So I just want to go over what is going to be happening this year for interest rates and also the Bitcoin cycle. As you can see here in the previous cycle, after we got the blow off top and the new all-time high, and we've just we got that like a double top during this cycle, this last previous cycle, you can see here that after the the fall off in the Bitcoin price, we eventually get a bottom around when the Fed stops raising interest rates. So you can see the US 2-year and 10-year right here, which is yellow and aquamarine. The orange line is the official Fed funds rate. So that's the official interest rate that they have for the overnight rate. And you can see that the 2 and 10-year actually peak and then start falling before the official Fed funds rate. That's because the market always tries to price in what's going to happen in the future. It's an open market rate. You can see that here, that the 2-year and 10-year started rising before the Fed even started raising rates. So they try and front run what's going to happen. Now, as you can see here, they're starting to top out and move lower, just like they did in this cycle right here. That's important because, as we can see from the previous cycle, as the Fed funds rate peaked and the Fed paused its rate hike, this happened to coincide almost perfectly with essentially the bottom for Bitcoin during that bear market and that sell-off. So as the Fed funds rate pauses, the market says the Fed's done raising, and everyone knows what happens after a pause. There can be a pause. It may be 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, we don't know. But after the pause comes the cut every single time for like the last 50 years, right? So we know this is going to happen, and the market tries to front run this. So in this occasion, the 2 and 10 year front run the Fed, they paused, Bitcoin bottomed, and then we go into the next halving cycle. Now, it just so happens that we are pretty much on the exact same timeline where we have the 2 and 10 year topping and potentially starting to move lower. The Fed may have 1 or 2 more rate hikes in it, and then the pause, which in this cycle signaled the bottom. So is this the bottom? Potentially not. Potentially we may have 2, 3, 4, 6 months, and we might get that recession as well, which is another downside risk. How bad is that going to be? So this may not potentially be the ultra bottom, but within the next 6 months, we could be seeing that as rates will be paused and then start to come down. That will be just in time for the next Bitcoin halving cycle, where you're going to get a lot of anticipation, and then the reduction in the supply of incentive coins, which has in every previous cycle seen the Bitcoin price rise to new all-time highs. So if you are a long-term investor, and I'm a long-term investor, I'm seeing the potential start of the different momentum in terms of rates, in terms of how the market is going, and also we are right on time in terms of between cycles as well. So it's a really exciting time for BTC. Longer term, Bitcoin is doing the exact same thing as it always does. Shorter term, we are coming into resistance here on this level, and also this supply right here as well. And the Fed is going to, want to crush any rallies for the most part as well. So getting difficult to put in a long position at this price, in my opinion. If you are a trader though, BitGet up to $8,000 deposit bonus, still doing 0 commission spot trading as well. Check that via the link in the description. I'm James with MoneyZG. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.